Good morning, Fearless fam, and welcome back to Travel Talk Tuesday. This week's question is, have you ever been scammed or ripped off while traveling? So I'm going to be honest with you guys, I almost didn't make this video because the answer to this question is no, I have not been scammed or ripped off while traveling. And I thought that was a really boring answer, but you know what? I thought about it a little longer and I realized that there have been a few times where I could have been scammed or ripped off. This is my dog. Excuse me. There are a few times where I could definitely have been scammed or ripped off while traveling, but I recognized the signs and I backed out before that happened. And I wanted to share those moments with you so maybe it would help you on your travels. The thing that comes to mind first and foremost is this hotel that we almost booked in China. There was one time when we almost went to Huangshan, and it's a very long story. If you click that link down below, that will explain why we didn't end up going to Huangshan, but regardless, while we were planning the trip, I was trying to choose the right hotel. I found one that was really affordable and it was a really good location. I can't remember the name of the website off the top of my head, but I'll put it on the screen right now. Okay, so the hotel sounded great. The weirdest part about it was that there were no reviews and the pictures looked fairly generic. I tried calling the phone number on there because I had a few questions about the hotel and the location and all that kind of stuff, and the phone number was out of service. Then I tried to look for an email address and the email address did not exist. The hotel did not have a website. There were no reviews on TripAdvisor, and it just did not seem like this hotel existed. So to be honest, it probably didn't. And actually, funny thing, I told Lena about this. Lena from Lena Around. She's a Danish girl living in Beijing, and her and I met each other while I was living there. And she told me a story about one time showing up in a small town in China, having paid for a hotel online and booked it in advance. She showed up and the hotel wasn't there, didn't exist. So she lost all that money that she had put into the booking in the first place. And the worst part about it is it gets you in the situation where you are in desperate need of a hotel. And when you're in that situation, obviously you can end up spending extra money, you can end up in a crappy place. Like, there's all kinds of things that could go wrong. The only other time that I have really been like ripped off while traveling was just paying too much for things. And really the things that I've paid too much for are things that you would pay too much for basically anywhere in the world. Tuk-tuk rides, cab rides, and souvenirs. Because I am clearly a foreigner in Asia, I felt that I was overcharged on several things, and there were some times where I would try to bargain and they'd say, oh, but, and they would give me like doe eyes kind of a thing. And then in China, when we were buying our bikes in Beijing, we believe personally that they overcharged us for the bikes compared to what they would have offered a Chinese person. So basically my point is, because I was clearly a foreigner, it was assumed that I was a tourist. So they assumed that I had the money to pay for it and that I would go ahead and pay for it anyways. And there were a few situations where yes, I just went ahead and shelled out the money and I got it because I wanted it or I needed it or whatever. And there were other times where I walked away. I think the point when you have to pay is when you get in a cab or a tuk-tuk and they're not using a meter, and at the very end you get out and you hadn't negotiated a price to begin with and they tell you a price and you're like, crap. You either need to get in a metered cab or you need to negotiate a price in advance. There was one time when Lena and I, what is it with you, Lena? No, I'm just kidding. We got in a tuk-tuk outside of a Beijing station and we didn't negotiate the price up front. So they drove us like basically down the block and he overcharged us like crazy. And we tried to talk him down in the moment, but he just wouldn't let us, so we had to pay it. So there are situations that I've gotten into like that where I've overpaid for something, or I've caught someone trying to maybe scam me and walked away from the situation. I think the sketchiest thing that I did as far as like leaving a valuable item with someone was I left my passport as collateral when Eric and I rented scooters on Koh Lanta in Thailand, and I got it back. So that's definitely a situation where things could have gone horribly wrong if that had ended up being like a bad scooter rental place. But yeah, no, I've never been scammed or ripped off while traveling. Have you been scammed or ripped off while traveling? Because I want to hear about it in the comments. Before you go today, be sure to check out the links below. There are links to all the channels of everybody who's participating in this week's Travel Talk Tuesday topic. And the cool thing about that is that everybody has different backgrounds and they've traveled to different places and they have different experiences. And so you can hear all their different perspectives each week. So if you want to hear more stories of people either getting scammed or not getting scammed, check out the links down below. And I also have a link to the playlist, and that has all the videos that have been made so far on this Travel Talk Tuesday. In a playlist, you can just click play all and watch them. So enjoy those videos. Thank you for watching, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow with another controversial video about China. So please be nice. Okay, bye.